Hi, my name is Autumn Johnson, and my common childhood disease project is over chickenpox. Chickenpox is a life-threatening disease that is caused by the varicella zoster virus. In the 1900s, the chickenpox was common throughout the United States, and about 4 million people ended up with chickenpox, and about 100 to 150 people were killed from them. The symptoms that would come with chickenpox was a fever, decrease in appetite, fatigue, aches, and pains. These symptoms would show up 1 to 2 days before the actual rash. The chickenpox would present itself. It was itchy, red and pink bumps that would form on the skin and spread over the whole entire body. Them bumps would turn into fluid-filled blisters that would then pop and leak, and then they'd eventually crust or scab over. The fluid from the blisters would spread to other parts of the skin, and it would create a cycle, and all that would happen over again until it was all cleared. That whole process, it caused the children who had chickenpox, it caused them to be super uncomfortable, miserable, irritable, itchy, and tired. It could be spread by contact, skin contact, you touching someone's blisters, the fluid from the blisters getting on you. It could be spread by an infected person sneezing or coughing. It could be spread by touching a contaminated surface or an object that person with chickenpox touched. It can even be spread from, if the mother had chickenpox, it can be spread to the baby from the mother during pregnancy, after birth, or even when she's nursing them. Okay. Chickenpox, they can spread up to 48 hours even before the rash appears. They also are contagious until every blister has been broken and has crusted or scabbed over. Some treatments for chickenpox, some medication from doctors, oatmeal baths, calamine lotion, Tylenol, to control fever, and vaccines. The vaccine was made in 1995. The vaccine did not cure chickenpox. The chickenpox could not be cured. It just tried to prevent them. The vaccine was made from a live attenuated virus, and it was made from a live attenuated virus, which meant that it was a weakened form of the germ that caused the disease. And when you would get the vaccine, it wouldn't prevent chickenpox. You would still, about 15 to 20% of kids would still get chickenpox. It just caused the whole thing to be not so bad. It caused mild infections. It caused less to no symptoms. Okay. How chickenpox applied to early childhood today? Well, chickenpox was around then, and it's around now. Chickenpox was very common in children, and even some parents, they like to have their kids to have the chickenpox when they were in their early childhood stages, so they wouldn't have to deal with them when they're adults. If you have chickenpox when you're an adult, then they're worse, and you have complications like pneumonia, inflammation of the brain, toxic shock syndrome, sepsis, and even people died. Okay. Precautions that should be taken in early childhood. One precaution should be the teacher or the worker, should call the parents and to make sure that the child has been vaccinated for the chickenpox or they're getting vaccinated. Another precaution would be if the child is having symptoms, they just need to be sent home. Chickenpox can be spread very easily. They need to be sent home for about 5 days after the rash appears. Okay. Another thing about chickenpox is if you had chickenpox when you were younger, then you for sure have the shingles virus. The virus that causes the chickenpox and the shingles is the varicella zoster virus. Whenever you have the chickenpox and you heal from them, that virus is still in your body. That virus finds its way, it moves up to the sensory nerve cell. That's like right outside the spinal cord, and it stays there until it reactivates later on in life, and it causes the shingles. The shingles only show up, they don't spread like chickenpox, they only show up on one part of the body. Shingles themselves are not contagious, you can't catch shingles, but the virus, the varicella zoster virus, you can catch that virus. And if you have contact with someone with the shingles, you can catch that virus, and that virus can give you chickenpox. The only way to prevent that from happening is if you've been vaccinated or you're immune to it. Speaking of immune, did you know that in the past, parents would take their unvaccinated child to a thing called a chickenpox party, and they would purposely expose their child to a child who had chickenpox, hoping that their child would catch chickenpox. And that was for them. That was because they wanted their child to get chickenpox over with, so they wouldn't have to deal with it, as an adult. Because, as I said, that causes complications. Or they didn't want to get the vaccination for their child, so they would do that to build up their child's immune system to chickenpox. And I believe that is... Well, you know what? I'll show you my pictures. Okay. This one is a kid with chickenpox. This one is the stages of chickenpox. Starts off as pink red bumps. Then it turns into blisters. They pop, and then they scab over. This one right here. These are chickenpox, and they're just chickenpox. This up here is chickenpox that after the vaccination. As you can see, they're not as bad. Chickenpox, as on this child right here, the chickenpox was not as bad as the ones on the vaccinated child. And this right here is the shingles. And that is the end of my presentation. I hope you liked it.